Hey there everyone, I'll just wait for some people to tune in, or if not, I'm just going to get on with it. So the reason why I wanted to get on here and talk about, the stuff that we carry around, right? We carry around and consume things on a daily basis. But the moment that we start to let go and surrender to the process is the moment that we start to really step into our own. We really start to step into our power. By the way, anyone that's tuning in, let me know where you're tuning in from. Say hello. It's nice to chat. And also, anyone that tunes in later, hashtag replay, let me know where you're tuning in from. So yeah, when it comes to carrying around all of that heaviness and fully letting go is the moment that we really rise and we step into our power. So for a large part of my life, I was carrying around a lot of baggage. I was carrying around all of the heaviness, and I suppressed myself so much that I just wouldn't let go of that heaviness that I was carrying around. So it weighed me down, and I wasn't able to shine my light. I wasn't able to step up and be the most authentic version of who I am. So recently, my grandma, she used this analogy, this metaphor, and she's 92, by the way. I learned a lot from her. Recently, that made me really think about, like carrying around all of that heaviness, right? She said basically, in a roundabout way, you can stand still with the baggage, like you can stand still wearing the problems and carrying the problems, or you can walk forward with your life with the problems. So that philosophy is basically saying, don't keep carrying around the boulder. Basically, eventually after moving forward with that boulder that you carry around, eventually your arms are going to get tired. You're going to get sick and tired of carrying around that heavy boulder that you're carrying around, right? And then you may just get so tired that your arms just get really, really tired, and then you just want to let go of that boulder. So what she's saying is basically that by moving forward with your life, no matter what you're going through, when you're feeling like there is no light at the end of the tunnel, by fully just walking forward, surrendering to the process and letting go of that attachment to carrying around that baggage is what will really allow you to heal from whatever you're going through. I had to learn the hard way. For a long time, I had lived in a lot of suppression. Not being able to express my story. That's why you're seeing more and more as I show up, I'm starting to unload more and more of my story, what it was like growing up for me. It was very, very heavy, and I wasn't able to express. So growing up for me, long story short, when I was younger, I struggled with many things, especially when it came to my schooling years. I struggled to learn. So I had to go to extra learning classes when I was younger to learn, to work on my learning abilities, right? And I struggled to read. So when I was reading, I would stutter with my words. So then I had to go and get help on speech therapy and stuff when I was younger, and, learning how to read and all of those things, right? So I didn't feel comfortable in my own skin. And as I, went on in my schooling years and into my teenage years, I started to be I was made fun of for a lot of those things, right, that I was struggling in. And I took on all of those projections coming my way. I took it as gospel. And I took that on and I wore that around. And, so I started putting up the walls, the coping mechanisms. And what happened was, from doing that, it suppressed me in such a way that suppression over time then caused a lot of depression. And then it snowballed from, one thing to the next. I didn't like the way that I looked, that it had no self-love, no self-worth. And all of this suppression built up inside. But I was standing still with the heaviness. And I wasn't walking forward at the time. And I didn't feel like there was light at the end of the tunnel. So I had a lot of acne on my face and all of these things, right? And that continued on to have suicidal thoughts. And, then I turned to alcohol, in my teenage years, going on into my adult years. I became addicted to alcohol. I used that as numbing the pain, and running from my own, not allowing myself to open up those, defense mechanisms to be able to express. So I suppressed it, and then I kept stacking on, more and more things. So drugs, then gambling, sex addictions, and pornography, and food addictions, and all of these things, right? And as my life piled on, as I started to go into the adulthood and started to, really get out in many different things in my life, I took on all of this heaviness. But at the same time, when I didn't feel like there was light at the end of the tunnel, I had this inner strength that kept saying, Mark, keep moving forward. Keep walking forward with your life. Because at some point, you're going to overleap whatever you're going through. And then you're going to be able to share that story with others that are going through the exact same thing, that need a little bit of inspiration of what's actually possible, that you can get to the other side and you can start to shine your light despite all of that suppression and that heaviness that you're going through. So when I mean by letting go of the boulder, it's walking forward. If you've got the boulder in your hands, that heaviness, walk forward with that boulder, because at some point you're going to get sick and tired of carrying the boulder, and your arms are going to get tired. You're going to let that boulder down and you're going to go, enough's enough. I see a better path for me. I see a better way of living for me. And that's exactly what happened for me in my life. And I'm sharing this story to help inspire people out there where they feel stuck and they feel like there is no way out. I'm so heavy right now. I don't know how to really express myself. But there's one thing I know is keep moving forward regardless, because things start to get easier. And was it easy for me to start to express myself? No, it wasn't. I went through very uncomfortable times of trying to express my story, to trying to express exactly what I've been through. And I've lived a life of many colors. I've lived a life of many, many chapters and different characters that I've played in this lifetime. But we have the power to shift that and stand into our power and own who we really are. Start to shine bright in this world. We start to smile. And one simple smile can actually cause that ripple effect around you. But life was not always me actually feeling vibrant, and me feeling like I could share my messages. But by going through those life experiences now in, reflection, looking back, I look at it as a blessing, because it taught me all of those experiences that I went through to be able to share my story. And I truly, truly believe that through our stories is what really makes an impact on people in this world. It's through our stories. And we all have a story. And recently, I was talking to a few friends about, our journeys and some of the things that my friends have been through and I've been through. And it's just like, wow, I can see why we've all, attracted each other on this journey. But life, as they say, life isn't always sunshines and rainbows. But by going through the Rocky Mountains and navigating our way through life, to get to where we're at now, to be able to shine bright, it's all part of the human experience. Because I truly believe that we have to go through the darkness to understand what the other side is all about. By feeling gratitude, we have to, go through those tough times to then be able to go, you know what, I made it through. I'm grateful for all of what I went through. So then I can pass that on to other people, so then they can feel inspired to start to take aligned action in their life and start to believe in themselves. For a long time, I didn't believe in myself. I suppressed myself down to my own capabilities, and then started to beat myself up and think, well, you know what? All the projections are right. I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. Who me? I'm going to get up and speak on stages. Who me? I'm going to write books and all of these things. Who me? No, that's not true. But then that's when I started to flip the script and go, you know what? I am capable. I am capable of doing all of those things. I am capable of embodying that life. and start to believe in myself and start to anchor that feeling in. And everyone can flip the script, no matter what you're going through, because life is all about perspective and the meaning that you give it. The tough times are for you to learn so then you can pass that on to others, so then they can see what's actually possible to overcome adversity. No matter how many projections come your way and obstacles, it's all part of the journey. And surrender to the process. The more you start to surrender to the process, the more you're going to start to feel a little lighter. And all of a sudden, you're going to not have that boulder that you're carrying around in your hands. So surrender to the process and start to express your story out in the world, because we all have one. You know, let's say part of your story, you have food addictions. Let's say you have sex addictions, or whatever it may be, or attached emotional eating, or whatever it is, right? Whatever you're going through, just know that there are people out there going through that. By you overcoming that obstacle, to be able to detach yourself from actually associating that relationship with emotional eating or sex addictions or alcohol or drugs or whatever it may be, right? That you can actually lift people up to believe what's possible. You know, when we truly tap into our infinite potential, when we truly tap in and get out of our mind and into our heart, we start to express from our heart. We start to move forward with that inner strength and power and conviction that no matter what obstacle comes your way, you're able to navigate your way through with that inner strength and that inner compass that you have. No matter the challenge, no matter the obstacle, no matter the situation, you've gone through a lifetime of down moments, of darkness, to get to this point so you can shine bright just as you are. Because part of the human experience is to go through that. To be able to show people how to be authentically them. By you being the leading by example. And as I say, life's not all sunshines and rainbows. Enjoy the experience. Enjoy the ride. If I can go through the process and get to having conversations with like my 92-year-old grandma, taking her through, I'm not sure who's watching, let me know where you're tuning in from, someone's watching. If I can have a conversation with my grandma, she's 92, and take her through a process of, you know, guiding her in some breath work, just some light breath work. And I use sounds and all of these things, right? She can't see with the technology, but we made it happen through the phone so I could hear her. And for her to go through the process and for her to find purpose and meaning for her life, for still being here on this earth, just shows that it doesn't matter what age you are, it doesn't matter what you've been through in your life, then you can make it happen. Be your own inspiration and start telling your story to impact lives around you. Because you can start to make an impact with just one small random act of kindness or one small, you know, one simple smile or whatever it is. But sharing your story through the expression reverses the cycle of depression and suppression. Well, suppression first, that causes the depression, that leaves you in the loop, that then attaches the things outside of you to fill the void. But what if you detach yourself completely? You surrender to the process and you start to forgive yourself. You start to look at all of those things that happened in the past as a story to tell that's impactful rather than being stuck in the story. That's what it's all about. It took me a long time to be able to have the courage to be able to express, hey, yeah, I did have addictions to alcohol, drugs, gambling, sex addictions. Was actually pretty prompt in my party days. It was pretty prompt. We can get into the details at some point, but that was part of my journey, part of my life. And I feel by going through those experiences and, you know, it allows me to be that living example for others out there that are going through the same thing or have gone through and still in the loop and the cycle of those thoughts. It says, you know, don't activate your dreams. Don't go for that. And all of the things, right? So through the expression of your story, never underestimate it. no matter what you've gone through, right? Because it's through your story that can really change this world. And start to feel gratitude and look at every life lesson as a blessing. Because every single struggle and obstacle and things that come your way has built the resilience and courage and power for you to keep walking forward on your mission, to activate your purpose, to step into your why. And that's my message. You know, I see these kinds of conversations are needed to have more and more and more. And especially with men. You know, as men have grown up in society where expressing feelings is looked down upon in like as weak or all of the things, right? But it's not. That's the inner strength. That's the power by sharing. And that's where the healing takes place. You reverse the cycle of that suppression that turned to depression. You reverse the cycle. You express. You start to feel lighter. You no longer have that boulder in your hands. And you start to walk forward in your mission. We all have a purpose. We all have our why. It's about surrendering. Letting go of those attachments. It's not an easy thing. But once we start to create awareness over that, we start to look at the patterns. How have I lived my life? Who have I associated with? What have I embodied in my life? When you start to look at all of the things, you start to articulate, break it down. You start to understand yourself, your inner self, a lot better, a lot deeper. And when you truly have that, that is where you find that in spirit, that inspiration. And when you find that inspiration, you start acting from a place of your heart's desires. So you start to take aligned action steps moving forward, which allows you to be open to receive opportunities and the right situations and people just appear. But first you have to let go. I'm not sure who's tuning in. Let me know if this message resonates with you. Share it with someone today that's going through a dark time. Maybe this may shed some light to bring some inspiration, to lift someone up in such a way they start to believe in themselves. Because I know what it's like. I know how it feels to go into the darkness. I know what it feels to walk down those murky waters and feel like, when am I going to see the light at the end of the tunnel? But it's all part of the journey to feel grateful for all of those things. Now, if I didn't go through, by the way, someone's watching, say hello, let me know where you're tuning in from. If I didn't go through those times, right, when I struggled in school with my learning difficulties, I had to go to special classes. My reading abilities, I had to go to special classes to read, and I had a stutter, so my speech, I had to go get speech therapy and all of those things, right? If I didn't go through that, you know what came on the other side of that? A lifelong student that's hungry, well, excited to want to learn every single day, to seek knowledge that then becomes wisdom by taking those steps, to take the practical and put it into use. That's been part of my mission. So by going through all of that allowed me to really activate that drive, that desire to want to learn. And on the flip side of things, I went super, super deep into many, many things. You can see a lot of books in the background, but it's not about how many books or courses or any of the things. But I did go very, very deep in understanding how mindset works, understanding how to rewire my mindset, and then went deeper and deeper into understanding my nervous system, to understand how mind, body, and soul, all of the connection within my vehicle that I have, to understand how it works. And by understanding how it works, I know how to live a healthy, prosperous life, to then be able to spill that over for the people around in my environment, for them to start to believe that, hey, I don't need to like carry around this boulder anymore. I can just let go of this boulder and start to really seek things that I can use as practical in my life to better myself. And always looking at going inwards every single day to remove out of your system what doesn't serve you. So I went deep, 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 understanding all of those things. I understand the power of word. And part of my mission, the drive from all of those learning difficulties growing up when I was younger, gave me that drive to want to learn how to find common ground with all walks of life, to improve on my communicational skills every single day, which I practice daily in front of the mirror. I talk to myself, I empower myself, so then I visualize myself up on stage, empowering other people through starting from me. But I embody that every single day. And I'm a humble student for life. I'm open to everything, attached to nothing. But at the same time, I know all of these things has been part of my journey to bring me to this point, so I can share that with the world. So they can start to believe in, so you guys can start to believe in yourself. That there is a whole new world out there for you. But it starts from within. I found that drive. And as I said, like improving on my active listening skills and my writing ability. I love writing. I'm in the process of just created my first ebook. It'll be out soon, just, the final touches. But this is part of something that lights me up. It's becoming that conscious creator where what lights me up every day, I create. I'm always creating. But I'm also here to use my communicational skills and my life experiences to help impact people, to help bring some inspiration, to motivate people through my stories. So anyone that's listening, if this resonates with you, let me know. And not only that, this isn't about me. This is by me speaking gives the courage for others to speak. And the moment that others get to speak, it just ripples out. And I'm always open to listen, because it's through the listening to everyone's stories is where we actually learn off each other. Even today, I'm sure that whoever's tuned in has learned something new, well, about myself, but just about what's actually possible and why my life's turned out the way it has, which I'm very blessed of. So never give up on your dreams, and despite whatever you're going through, those challenges, treat it as blessings, and the life is the meaning that you give it. So when you start to look at all angles of perspectives, and you start to take the observer view, detach yourself, you can then anchor in a new life that's designed and meant for you. Because when we truly let go of the boulder, that heaviness, we open up to receive. The universe is always working for us. And we've all done these things, right? I've, in the past, definitely blamed the universe or things outside of me, like, oh, you did this, or blah, 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 right? And started telling that story. But then I figured it out. The universe isn't against me. What I put my focus on starts to manifest. So when I start to embody that new life and find new healthy alternatives and a new environment and creating my own inner environment that then ripples out and only expressing from my heart, things start to change. Everything starts to change. And if I can do it, so can you. If I can get past the times where I didn't even want to be here, I didn't want to be here. I had continuous thought patterns over and over and over again. I'm just going to share a little snippet into this one moment where I felt so embarrassed, so shameful to even want to tell this story, like years later, right? I'm telling the tale. But I felt so shameful at the time. I've let that go. When I was 16, I remember, in my room, I was drinking away. I was drinking by myself. And I drank so much alcohol in that day that my stomach couldn't take it. And what happened was, and that day, I was contemplating, do I want to be here anymore? Or is there a life? Is there a future for me? And in this moment of feeling like just so lost, like I'm done, I spewed all over myself. I spewed over my door. So I'm basically laying in my own spew. And it felt so shameful at that time. So shameful. I suppressed it. It built up over time. My mum came, hey Marcel, thanks for tuning in, brother. We'll definitely get on a phone call soon. I think I tried to ring you earlier, but anyway, I'm back to my story. So my mum came into the room and she saw the spew all over the door, and then she opened up my closet, my closet, and saw all of these empty cartons of beer in the closet. Here's me laying in spew. You can spew on the door. And she's like, you're going to have to clean that up. So then she left. But that moment, I felt so worthless. In that moment, cleaning, literally scrubbing my own spew off the door. Cleaning myself. Had to jump in the shower and clean myself off. But these are the moments to look back on and think, at that moment, I didn't think there was a future. But here I am telling the tale. I feel more alive than I ever have. So I'm here to shed light into this world that everything is possible. No matter the situation, no matter what you're going through. You start to believe in yourself. You start to activate your power. Step into that, walk forward. With that boulder that you're carrying around, you start to surrender to the process. Have patience with yourself. Not beat yourself up from all of the mistakes, because it's part of the human experience. Making mistakes, we learn the lessons. And if we don't learn the lessons straight away, that's okay too. It's part of the human experience. So then you can start to shed light into the world to inspire people. And that's what I wanted to share. But thank you so much, Marcel, for tuning in. Like I've touched base in little snippets of my story. I know you've heard little snippets, but the more I start to express, the more I start to reflect, it's all coming together where I can actually start to go deeper and deeper into the process with how I'm not attached to the story, but I see it for what it was and for what it taught me. So then I can teach that to the world. And that's where the power comes from. Never give up. Always believe in you. You are unstoppable. And I'm talking to you too, Marcel, and anyone else that comes in. You are unstoppable. Believe and be open. Because the life that is ready for you, all you have to do is get out of the way and say, thank you. I thank you, universe. I thank you for all of those obstacles. I thank you for laying in my room that day to realize how grateful I really am to overcome that. And that's real empowerment. That alone. I've had many, many situations too that I could go deeper and deeper into the process. We'll definitely leave that, Marcel. Me and you will definitely touch base at some point to talk into all of these stories, and I'd love to hear more of your own as well. And we can get that message out there, your own story. I won't get into the details because I want people to know who you are, but I know that you've been through some challenging times in your, with the professional athlete, status and meeting expectations to achieve and all of the things. I know you've been through it, man. But you're a walking miracle as well. You're here as an inspiration for the world. People want to hear your story too. I definitely want to see the world listen to you and your story because it's powerful. We all have a story to tell. It's through our story that makes the impact. Yes, we go through life, we embody tools. For me, I found breath work and NLP like yourself, but it's actually the authenticity and our life experiences that is the real game changer. Because it's the inspiration, that love and connection that we marry up, that brings about change. Really. We are always guided, Marcel. Exactly right. And I mean, I was gifted, that guidance to meet you. There's a reason why we're connected, and I'm very grateful for the friendship that I have with you. Very grateful for everyone that's come into my life. Especially over the last few years, I've been on this journey, really going inwards, to be able to actually express myself. If I thought about this over a year ago or 2 years ago, I wouldn't be able to express myself in this way. I would hover over the button of the live videos and doubt myself. That'd send me more into depression, suppression. But you overcome it as you go along. But it's all about walking forward with absolute conviction in your story and absolute confidence that everything is going to work out, because it always is. So yeah, on that note, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to, get a few things done actually, have some food, but we will stay in touch. We will get on a phone call soon, Marcel. I know you're diving into many things at the moment as well, and we're focused because we're here to make a difference in this world. We're here to bring about a revolution, equality, love and connection. I mean, realistically, the human experience, that's what it's all about. Without that connection, and it's not just connection with people, it's connection with yourself, that relationship with you then ripples out for everyone else. But this is why we're here. It's that deepness. The surface-like stuff you don't feel the connection with the surface-like stuff. We're here to have fun. We're here to enjoy it all. But yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in, and anyone else that's tuned in and out. I really appreciate everyone that's actually taken the time to listen to my story. I'm also opening up the invitation for anyone out there. I've got a podcast called Unleash Your Voice for this exact purpose, exactly what I'm doing. And I'm inviting anyone out there that's got a story to tell, whatever it is. It could be, I had dreams to be a professional soccer player and I almost made it, but then I had doubts. It could be anything. Sport, it could be whatever it is. We all have something to share with this world. It can make a difference. So I invite anyone that wants to express and unleash their voice to come on my podcast and reach out. I'm only one conversation away from you maybe impacting many lives with your story. It's not about me. The world wants to hear what you've got to say. As much as what I'm expressing right now, the world wants to hear you. Feel your presence. Let's do it, Marcel. We will. We definitely will. I know you're all in on those things. But for the ones that never thought of getting on, I'm also speaking to you guys. I know exactly how you feel. I've been in those places. But if it wasn't for me surrendering and saying, I need help, you know what happened from that? It allowed me the space to meet beautiful Marcel and all of my other friends as well that have allowed me that space to express. And that's what's, got me on my journey. So never underestimate that. Opening up the space for someone to express themselves means the absolute world. So yeah. Thank you, Marcel. I send you so much love and light. Keep focused. You busy man. Keep serving this planet, doing your thing. I see you. And also for anyone else that tunes in as well, have a beautiful, beautiful day. And let's rock it and just be us. Just shine as we are. Be our most authentic self. On that note, boom, we'll mic drop that. Someone else has just tuned in. Let me know where you tuned in from, or maybe go back and watch the replay. So yeah, let's keep sharing, guys. Let's keep expressing, moving forward, and letting go of that boulder. On that note, I'm definitely off. I say bye 20 times, but it's only because I love you guys and you still tune in. Catch ya.